Hello, hello. I am Dr. Brenda Jane Power, and that is about metaphysics. This is my show, Medicine Wins Soultion, Soultion. And I have been waiting for this moment for what, a few months now? Three, four. A big shift had happened, and we had this beautiful thing that happened. You can talk about all the planets, the eclipses, and everything. And what I'm into is listening for the spirit go. And it takes approximately about 8% of people like me and you that are ready to hear with your soul and to live um, in this new awakened 4D, 5D relationship. And that means this is the way the heart. The heart is going to communicate on a higher level. This means that the first three chakras are going to be looking at the data and seeing them differently. You are going to become more your spiritual human self. Those that, on a scale, it's not a hierarchy, one's better than the other, it is a scale. So we all start here and we're going to move in this direction here. So as we start to awaken, it'll be like a wave, okay? So one group will start and then it'll keep going and another group will start. And so again, we're going to do this in waves or shifts. But this big moment occurred. It's like it was this first, it was the sweeping of aligning of these planets, and I could feel it. And it was like, not yet, not yet. But now the purpose that I'm here for is starting to get stronger because it's ready. And then we had the eclipse. Which eclipse was it? I know you all know which one it is, but all I know is that it was a cosmic initiation. Now, I hope all of you have worked at making sure you paid attention, Lunar, thank you, paid attention to how did you act? How are you being? What was your emotions? What was the mental status? Because the quotients of the physical, mental, emotional, and spiritual quotients, you now have to decide to mature on that soul level. And this is where I come in a little bit more because you're not just a human anymore. You're not just your ego. You're becoming your soul. And this is super exciting. And the cosmic initiation, it was just like, it's time. I'm back. I'm ready. And now you have to learn to look for glimmers, learn how to listen for gem pops from the soul. You have to learn the new language of the soul, because without learning that language, you're not going to be able to understand like quantum physics or qualia science. You're not going to be able to understand. Okay, hi, glad to have you. And after I do my Spirit Speaks, I can give some free readings if you've never had a reading before. So people are waking up all over the world. We've had enough now, enough people that have that particular energy field. And it was like we didn't have it a few months back because we needed that extra mirror imaging of, do we really want to keep doing this? Now, a lot of you have been programmed by being gaslit, no matter which perspective on the kaleidoscope of perspective, you have been gaslit. This means that somebody else has been taking your pen and filling in their dream into your head. And without you realizing it, you're starting to do all the work to give them the rewards. Well, where does that leave you? Honestly, where does that leave you? And most people don't realize that they need to start thinking with their heart, their soul heart, and use critical thinking and use the ability to understand that it's not about the ego I, it's about the spiritual heart. It's about that particular I, the I am. We get to say, I am this, and we fill it in. And then I am is God's response. Okay, this isn't about religion. Nope. But do we want to keep calling it into being? Are we going to keep using that frequencies and vibrations to keep repeating. How we do anything is how we do everything. And so when you begin to wake up, it is from that matrix that we all agreed upon that it's supposed to be about, like the movie called Ghetto Physics. It's about the pimp and the hoe, and it's about the hierarchy. We're going to the ecosystem now. We're going to be going inward. We're going to use our heart brain coherence. We're going to be using more love than we have in the past. So, have you ever grown up and had those expressions, should I follow my heart or should I follow my intellect? Have any of you? Just curious. Because I did. I remember thinking, oh my gosh, I got to make this major decision. Do I follow my heart or do I follow what's right and wrong? Do I follow the intellect data? What do I follow? And it was always confusing. But it's not when you start to understand that emotions have a chemical peptide connected to it. As it has it connected to it, it's going to say, hey, emotionally, you're supposed to feel this, and you're supposed to just obsess about it, and you're supposed to feelings. You put the meaning with it. You are this particular experience. Now, I wonder, I had it written down, but if everybody knows, when you have one of these remarkables, and sometime it closes, it doesn't tell you where you left off. So I've got to remember, I think it was under ideas. Let's see. Yes, it could be it. And so every day I wake up and, I do this routine of making sure that my energy, my aura, and things like this are balanced. So I'm not absorbing my husband's energy field and I'm being like him or the person I'm thinking about, so I make sure I get into my fixed state. I balance my energies. And when I'm learning how to be in this moment, I get to decide, and you don't have to do it based on, oh, what am I feeling? I feel like crap. Okay, that's going to write my whole day. No, you now get to decide as a spirit being, okay, who's doing the thinking, who's doing the listening. Do you have to believe your own BS? That's belief systems and bullshit. You will, some of you, my students and tribal members, you begin to understand that you're the third option. You are the spirit being, you're the observer. And some of you are going to be just waking up going, like, who's the voice in my head? Which you're starting to notice the difference between you and your heart and you and your voice and all those extra programs. And some of you are like, well, what are you talking about? Well, have you ever mother told you, said, don't do this? And you go ahead and you're about ready to do it. And you got this voice in your head that sounds like you and tells you not to do it. And you're like, oh, I better listen. And you forget that you've learned it. But maybe that's the very thing, because in that era of time, you were not supposed to, but maybe in this time, you're meant to learn how to love yourself and how to follow yourself. So there is different kinds of healing tools to kick people out of your head. These voices. So I spent a good couple hours writing about the voice in your head. And then I went on going, who's listening to that voice? Well, if you're asleep, you're listening to that voice, but you don't know you're listening, and you think that you're thinking when in fact you're not thinking, you're listening and you're obeying these particular thoughts. So again, if somebody's given you the power of suggestion or they have given you the gaslighting ability, meaning they gaslight you and you believe their truth, and so it's propaganda. And I'm not talking about just countries and this and that. I'm talking about who governs you in the wee hours in the morning, or when you're by yourself. Who governs you? And this is where emotions of feeling lost, stuck, disconnected, depression, anxiety, all of these things, none of those are really you. They're expressions of an experience. So over the weekend again, more proof has come in about how we hold space, how a healer and a healee. A healer is somebody that holds space, and the healee is like being introduced to these keys and codes that, oh, I forgot that I can be whole. So there's these different ways of showing up for you. Now, as you begin to like ask the question, what am I waking up from? And these are these programs. You're waking up from the how do I put this? Okay, so when you're little, you don't really know how to be a human. So there's this moment that you don't know that that is a bird, or that is a toy, or that is a TV, or that is this. So if you were given something, you weren't told what it was meaning, you would interact with it and you would figure it out, or you would put meaning to it. But once you're told what it is, you can no longer see it that fresh way. You have to see it the way that it's labeled. Now, some people have kept the gift of genius because they still have that resolving part of themselves to look, to see in more than 2D and 3D. They get to see more, and they're not told that, no, you can't do that. It's only this way. And when you connect with your higher self and your heart and have that heart-brain coherence, you create this very much spiritual intuition. Now, just bear with me. I want you to relearn how to use your gifts because we all have them. But as we began to grow and people were telling us right, wrong, good, bad, this definition, that is my truth, that one's wrong, and this comparison and that, you started to lose your spiritual genius and go into very selective way of being. And as you chose that type of being, okay, you limited your connection to your higher self, to that realm of great infinite possibilities, the quantum field, the field of consciousness, not I'm conscious and I'm awake. Consciousness, the creator of all that is, consciousness, that is what's creating this, but your part, okay? Your part is to awaken. So we've put ourselves to sleep, let everybody else define things for us, allow us to trust our ego intuition, mess up the communications in this physical biosuit, this organic electromagnetic biosuit. And now, as you begin to hear with your soul, you're going to have this soul's urge. It's different than the human urge. Okay? The human's urge, you're supposed to curb, or you're supposed to suppress, or you just take full advantage of it. Okay? So what happens can get you in a lot of trouble. And you're not operating the chemical peptides from the emotions, and you follow that urge, all of a sudden can lead you into a heap of trouble. But it also creates a form of addiction that the only way that you can cope in this moment is to follow this strategy and get into this state of feeling, and oh, I feel like I want to have sex. And so now you, instead of being the spirit going, okay, this isn't the appropriate time, or no, that's not what I should be doing, instead you abandon and you start to change your relationships with two people and places, and you go follow that urge, fulfill that urge, and then you have to come back to this moment, and what did you sacrifice? So urges to eat continuously because you don't know how to cope, handle, and deal with these emotions or these urges. Now I'm going to be studying and rewriting and channeling all of these new things in soon. And so I'm just giving you a small taste. But a soul's urge is you all of a sudden, you'll know how you know in the deepest part of your soul, but you may not know it's your soul, but it is the soul's urge with your heart. The heart brain communication becomes very balanced. And everybody like, well, how did you know that this and this and this? It's not predicting. On a soul level, there is a greater knowing. Irony. And it's like, whoa. So you know, and it is such great peace. You know that certain things needed to be followed through, and you're like, wow. Okay, I don't know how to explain it fully yet, but we will. So as you connect with that higher self, you're going to be moving into developing further with your spirit how to know how you know with your soul versus your ego self. You will move in a particular fashion. Hey, there I go. Finally got the screen up properly here. So this cosmic initiation had swept over all of these timelines, all of these earths, all of these potentials, all of these yous. And it said the frequency is risen. You have to use your sensory system in a much higher fashion now because we're creating a new love space for love, and that love is going to be more of a guidance, and it's going to help you with your four body system because your soul needs this four body system in order to be in this this realm of this illusion, this earthly thing. So spiritually, mentally, emotionally, and physically. So now all of you have these higher frequencies, all these new keys and codes. But are you going to operate as the old you or the new you? Now, some of you will all of a sudden, there'll be this light switch that will be coming on. And you have moved the scale because you already started the wave a long time ago. And then another wave come in, and so one of my big waves that happened on the planet happened many years ago. And it was like, I'm sitting at the table, I'm with my family, and I'm hearing the gaslighting, the insults, the the cut downs, the everything. And it was like, stop the boat. It was when I said I heard it, and then I heard it everywhere. And I could see that this was the norm to hurt people, to and then apologize, and then it's not in and then they like get called out, you used me. Well, yeah, well, I gotta get what I want. And again, we normalized all of this. And we called it love. And I'm sitting there going, I can no longer do the thing that insults my soul. I do not owe you because I'm married to you, or you're my family, or you're my friends. It was, wow, am I done with this? I could not unsee what I saw. My program and everything just, my heart said, do you want to continue to do love this way? I'm like, no, done. I don't have time for this. I'm done. And these will be your key words, because you're not sitting there going, oh, I'm going to hurt their feelings or I'm going to break their heart. And, I've got to, I made a promise I need to show up. And, and they're over there going, hey, I'm a salesperson. I'm this and I can do this. And I'm not going to feel guilty. And I had to look at how guilt and shame had controlled my world. So I would get in line and let somebody else write my world so they were happy. Now, so great initiation happened. I wake up that morning. I'm stretching and I noticed that I didn't do my routine, my tribal basics. I didn't do my routine. And I thought, okay. And I'm stretching and I look over, my husband's to the right of me. And all of a sudden it was like, my spirit could watch and observe how my program of a certain age began to look at my husband as a 3-year-old going, oh my God, he just moved in angerous way. That means this. I need to behave. I need to hold my breath. I'm in fear that I'm going to get yelled at. And, if they have a bad day or if I woke them up before they're ready, I'm going to get yelled at. And I had all of these voices, my voice, but these storylines, these things just, and I'm like, what? It was bizarre. And then I'm watching this. I got to fix this camera real quick. Sorry, guys. There. I had to clean it. And I'm watching this and I'm like, wow. I stood there as my spirit self going, oh my gosh, did we just go through the initiation? What is this? And I'm like, I don't have to be afraid of him. My body said, this is my environment. I'm supposed love equals, and I'm supposed to be afraid of my environment, supposed to be afraid of the people in my environment because I've done wrong. And I'm like, how old am I? and then it's like, whoa, I says, I know that's not true. And my little part of me is like going, yes, it is. Yes, it is. And so my physical body's like, and I'm like, stop, body, stop. I love you. And I started to, so I went to tap and then, no. So a spirit, I was like, I have to greet this environment as my spiritual soul to help my littles learn that this is not the same thing. So I walk on the other side, grab the clippers. He goes, good morning. Bright, cheery, loving husband that I know. And I said, see, littles, it's not the same storyline. And of course, I gave him a kiss and everything and greeted him with a good morning. And then I could feel my body going, did we just, this is what we know. Wait, we're interested to do something new. It's like, even though for the past 11 years or 10 years or however long, I've been greeted that way every morning. But to wake up, and my spirit is now getting to see the programs that are running and not have to believe it. It was like that same day that happened so many years ago. And I don't know how you guys are seeing it or experiencing your reality, but I want you to know that your soul gets to decide the difference. Now, like, you got to have this in order to understand what I'm talking about. So if I'm talking to you and I'm like, oh yeah, when I was 4 years old, we had this racetrack and I'm in the front and I got a seatbelt on and in my mind I have the seatbelt on, but maybe I didn't because back in the days we didn't bother with seatbelts, right? So my mind's filling in the blanks. And I've learned through neuroscience that our brain fills in blanks. And so we can't even trust uh, our own memories because we delete, distort, and generalize, and then we have to fix it so that we can feel better. And so you can't even believe everything you think. But anyways, getting back to my story, I'm 4 years old and I'm in the front seat and we're going around and around. And all of a sudden, as we're going around, I must have hit the door because the door opened and I flew out and I remember the sensation of being in midair, can't recover, and I'm flying through the air. I remember the suspension that there's nothing there, nothing to hold me, nothing. And the door came back and had sliced my leg, didn't break the bone, but sliced my leg. And I landed, I had hit my hip and I couldn't move. And I could feel that sensation how my leg was there, but I couldn't operate it. Now, as I'm telling you the story, you can go, oh my God, I remember that time. Oh my God, I remember that time. Now, this is you listening to my story and then emotionally engaging with me as we're bonding. And you're going down to your first three chakras that are data centers of all of your history. And you can start connecting, resonating, and pulling up so we can have a conversation. But now, instead of just feeling it and then being the memory, where, oh, I have to cut you off because my story is important too, because now I'm so wrapped up, I got to respond, right? Instead of having to do that or stifling it or whatever storylines you go with it, you get to be more of your spiritual self and observe, do I need to have this conversation? You get to be more in your space. So somebody says, okay, this is the inside. What about the outside? Now, I don't know exactly. It says, my question is why my principal does anger over me. Okay, so you are doing your thing and somebody outside of you is judging you. Now, if it's a principal in a school and you're the student, it can be for many reasons. But if you're not fitting in his realm of what is right and wrong, good and bad, and he stands as a parenting type of authority, then he will be present as that. Now, why would he need to do that? Because who does he remind you of? Now, inside your inner world will create your outer world. And if you have seen this particular behavior and you notice it as like it's your mom, it's your dad, it's your brother, it's your aunt, it's your uncle, you, as you grow, begin to see that, okay, maybe mom, dad, and all them are not in your space all the time, but somebody else is. Somebody else has got to do that program that you learned when you were little because it's still an unresolved, continued story. Okay. But in the meantime, your program is running in the inside that I want to do this or people don't like me. Now, this is the belief systems. And I've seen that gesture, that look, that tone of voice, and so your unresolved continued story, as you learn to love you and be present, you're going to see where you're stuck and it will show up. Now, if you're a soul, you can go, oh my gosh, I can look at the gems. I can look at where I've lost power. I can look at the content and I can measure it and I can heal it out and change the emotional chemical peptide that keeps creating this particular storyline. Okay. But if you don't, you're going to keep doing it and you're going to keep seeing it the same storyline and you're going to keep adding. And then you're going to think, oh my God, I'm in bad luck. But if you're thinking negative, you're going to create a nocebo effect, which creates not just the nocebo effect, but it'll create a cycle. And if you are constantly looking for the next bad thing to happen, or this always happens to me, programming, this always happens to me with these emotions, you are going to keep your bad luck, your people that don't like you, you're going to keep the storyline until you disrupt it in the brain. You need to disrupt, and this is where EFT, okay, this is where hope therapy, or OMG, or other SP, other tools that can disrupt the emotional chemical peptide that's tied to the experience. Oh my God, I had this experience. When did you have it? 10 years ago. Oh, and it's still affecting you the same way today. So the body and creating the physiology, everything's, I've noticed that the energies, I'm talking more with my hands. What's that about, right? It's part of how we're holding space just a little different. So when we ask this question, we're looking as I see it, I'm hurt by it. So you could be in a victim mindset. Because as you wake up, you're like, but I've seen this and it hurts. And so now instead of having it happen the first time, which could be traumatic, but it keeps happening, you're going to keep adding up the number. Oh my God. And you're going to keep collecting proof that this reality is real for you and this is your storyline. But you can change the storyline. When you first wake up in the morning, you get yourself back in the alignment of love. You don't have to go, oh, that was bad. Now, a lot of people just walk around with flippant talking and flippant speaking and mimic and borrow how everybody else does it. And that's a personality. So I need to complain. Oh, man, that happened. Oh, man, that sucks. Oh, I don't like this. Oh, whine, complain. But you're telling the universe, I want more of it. By your emotions with the content of what you say flippantly, not be accountable for what you're saying and not be impeccable with what you're saying. You are saying to the Amazon universe, I want this. Now, on a soul level, your soul is saying, no, I'm just telling you, can you heal it now? You just keep losing power to it. Heal it now. So when, oh my God, my teacher's doing this, it's just awful. And they talk bad about me. Your soul is saying, can you heal it now? Well, first of all, you got to learn how to measure it. It's a 10. It's crappy. It's real for me. And then you sit down and you can just tap the meridians. Okay. This is what's called EFT. For those of you that have not known more about me, then you can use this simple tool. Now, the simple tool is very strong. Okay. And it goes on and on and on. Now, it's how you get to view. So you're not the victim mindset. The mindset the ego does not get to sit there and go, oh my God, this and this and this. No, you as a spirit can break from that mindset, view it from a different angle. Now, see, this person asked, I don't know if they stayed. I answered. No one's answered back. And yet, did you hear how I answered it? And then Kelly had asked a question about bad luck. And I'm saying, your programs, you're seeing it, you can stop and go, okay, I want to change this. I'm done. You have to have some form of authority. And then you disrupt the emotional chemical peptide that says, this is the experience, and I have to keep re experiencing this experience because that is what I can't stop focusing on. You become obsessed about it. You need to disrupt that focus. And you need to disrupt that belief system before it creates the BS of your world, the bullshit. Okay? Now you can find and re-listen to those on YouTube, and you get to listen to them again. Good. Kelly has heard me. She says, I have been saying I'm done. Now you got to stop believing. Now, here's the thing. I got a crumb in my shirt. This is what, Kelly, ready? Oh my God. How do you know that you have bad luck? How do you know that, oh my God, I see it? On a scale from 0 to 10, 1 is maybe. And I know it's still there. And, then you get up to 10, it's like, oh my God, there it is. Oh, there's proof again. There's proof again. Okay, so we got this chemical peptide. And what number are you? And when you finally are rising up, say, I'm done, it's not just you have to rise a little higher, and you need to use a tool. So I would say, I'm done. I can't stand this bad luck. So then, Kelly, what I would tell you to do is notice that it's connected to is I can't behave the way I want. I have to do it the way others put it. So there's several ways to disrupt this. Yours is like, oh my God, I got this bad luck cycle. I'm going to tell you that you can use your own body, and you can use EFT, emotional freedom technique. You can look it up. You can even look it on my website. But you can also take and use your own wrists, hands. If you have a hand, great. You will notice that this R stands for the right. There's first, second, third. Line up your fingernails so you can see the width. And the first is right under the bend, and it's under the thumb. And you're going to place the thumb, okay, so right hand, left thumb, in that first position. You're going to push in deep, not soft, but deep, penetrate. Finger in the palm, so you create the letter C. Safety, security, and stability. Now, the heel of the palm is going to go on the forehead. And let your fingers drop. And you're going to sit there. And you're going to take that number of how you know this. And you're going to look at everything. Don't explain it away, because that's saying, I don't want to heal it. That's intellectualized it, and the wiring is saying, nope, I got to keep this pattern. We are here to disrupt that emotional chemical peptide pattern. Do you understand? So again, you're going to sit there 15, 20 minutes, and you're going to allow yourself to feel to heal. After 15 minutes, you look at what you wrote, or even in the middle of it, you get good at this. You're going to start hearing the content change just a little bit, and the number come down. You're healing yourself. So her right hand's injured. Okay. So she can't get into it, but you can use imagination. She could take a mirror and she could put it like this. Okay. Use her left hand. And she can use, and so when she looks in the mirror, she'll see her right hand, and she will push with her left hand. Same position, okay, pushing at that, and then hold it and look in the mirror. And then once your brain starts thinking it's the right hand, okay, but I can't use my thumb or anything, fine, take this, and let's say this is a sharp object. You can push on it like this and like this, or if you can put pressure through it. I don't know if it's got a cast on it or not, okay, but either way, there's always a way. Okay. But if you're like, well, I can't do that. All right. How much do you want to end this? Because when you're ready to be done, like you're starving, you will find a way to find food and feed yourself. We have lost that ability. Let other people be in charge of that. We just sit there and starve. But motivation and your first level is at your hierarchy of needs. And if you really want out of it and to change this, you can switch over and go, thank you, Spirit, show me the way. If you're actually done with it, then you called me in. I'm done with it. Show me a way out, God. Thank you. Boom. I just showed you something. Well, I can't. But if you're taught to feel like from a parent, you can't do it, and you've always had to put in a self-sabotaging way, I can't, because, I got all these, I can't, then you can even measure how I can't. I can't. I'm not allowed. I've got all these limitations. You could take a magnet, like a business card magnet, okay? And you literally will see two sides. You can put a bandana, headband, whatever, and you would place, and usually it is this side is facing out, okay? This side is facing out, and the magnet side is touching the forehead, right? And you would then, like, well, I can't hold it there. Well, we can get creative and we can say, thank you, Spirit. I have figured out how to do it myself. I'm going to slip that in there. And now, what is the importance of doing that? Okay, see, again, hands free. Now, what's the magnet? We are made of electromagnetic energy. And one of the amazing parts about being electromagnetic energy is to understand that the frontal lobe creates reality. And if you are in stress, fight, flight, freeze, fawn, fornicate, flop, of whatever it is, then what's going to happen okay, you ready? Is that 80% of the blood will go into your arms and in your feet to run, to fight, fight, freeze. You need the blood back up. So your hand is electromagnetic, can bring the blood back up. Even if you didn't hold the point, just holding that, but if I can't use my hands at all, you would place this, like I did here, to bring with the intention of thought, okay? And you measure it, you'll start noticing the change. If you don't measure it and you don't show up for yourself with that, then you won't know it's changing. You have to show up for yourself. The blood that's supposed to feed all your organs is going to the limbs and the visceral nerve, so you can do that. But if you bring the blood back up and you learn to calm the body down, the blood can start returning back into the body because you are feeling safe, secure, sanity, serenity, space. Okay? Safety, security, stability, sanity, serenity, and space, which is your freedom. Thank you. I figured out how to do it. Excellent. So when you ask, if you feel like you can't, you may say, "Oh, I've got one hand. I'm going to do EFT. I'm going to," and she showed you the website, my moderator, and you would, okay, all right, and I can only do one side at a time. That's fine. You can do the other side. Some people say you don't have to do it at all, okay? But at the same time, notice I can't measure, I can't, just bringing the blood back up and look at all the ways you can't until then. And all of a sudden, that chemical peptide will start to dissolve. And bam, yes, I can. Hopefully that makes sense to you. I seen a comment over here. It's disappeared on me. Yes, we want to move from being less judgmental. Now, when you start to stand up for yourself and you're saying, no more of this, no more of that, people are going to use words maybe against you, your own words against you. They will use negative words to pull you back, but you need to learn to stand your ground and not fall for it. So the biggest thing is do we have to keep falling for it? And no, we don't. The biggest thing is to change the chemical peptides, the chemistry that's causing our brain to be out of balance, out of whack, and don't listen to our heart, but we have to listen to the environment. And the environment is what tells our DNA to change. The environment controls all of these things. Now, we don't have to fall for the environment. We don't have to be influenced. And this is why you see this day and age really talk about influencers. And some of these influencers are hurting people. Okay. Now, you want to be a healthier, more impeccable with your word influencer, start educating yourself, not on one perspective, but many. If you want to really make a difference in the world, then educate yourself, practice, and grow. Don't just think, oh, you know it all, because man, the universe is going to come along with a bitch slap and woo, you're going to be learning something very deep. So what'd you think? What do you think about what I spoke about today? This is your moment to look at, did you take any gem pops? Like, oh my God, what you said stood out. Share that back with me. If you feel like, you've had an initiation and you can, and you're like, whoa, share that back with me. Or you can just leave the number 2, okay? Or blue hearts, however it is. So I know that, yeah, you got the message. You understood it. Okay, because we're ready now. We are so ready. We are so ready to understand by asking these very particular questions to choose to, how do we want to put it? Yes, we'll put it another way. As we begin to see with our soul, oh, should I do it now or should I do it later? Because I just kept writing over and over and over many things, and like the Tower of Babel's beginning, the story in the Bible, the Tower of Babel, that's changing. And we just went to our, oh, thank you. We just went through our adventure. And now we're coming out of the wandering of the desert, which means we need to learn this new language. And we have learning to, how do you want to put it? As we learn this new language, we will then have this ability to communicate completely different with the heart brain perspective. He says, my mediumship has kicked up. Excellent, excellent. There is so much you can do. There's so much you can do. See, and we know that there's a new way to do things, like Autumn Chalkline. She's this beautiful woman that her gift to the world is show people how to do the healing tools that, she has to alter. But she sits there and she, wow, I'm going to figure this out. So she has this great ability to not feel like she has to be left behind, or that she, can't do something. She just proves right back, get out of my way, I'm doing it. And so, not in a cocky way, but in a very spiritual, resourceful way. And so we are thankful that we can look and see with the catalog of life that other people are doing it. They're healing, they're growing. So I'm so happy that you all had gone through, and hopefully you had a nice, great initiation. And I just know here in the Powers House, we're happy, we're lucky, we love it, and we're learning to use vision reality to know that we already have what we've got. And then we may as well just live as that cup of peace, no matter what's going on in the universe. Okay, if you like what I said, you can go over to YouTube and look for Medicine Woman Soultion, and like this content. There'll be more content. Share. What is it? Like, share, and the best of all, let's get those numbers up for me, because you and me, we're going to make a difference in this world. So I'm aiming for 1,000 people. And look at those thumbs up. That just jumped immediately. Thank you for all of that. And remember to subscribe. More and more people are going to be waking up. And I have a lot of content over the years and teaching the different ways of speaking, looking, and all of this. Fantastic Spirit Speaks. Wonderful. Thank you so much. Love it. And we're going to start to look at, and you have this opportunity. Now you can't see it on Facebook, but you have this opportunity. You can have a chat for 15. You can be on the video for 25, but I don't want video. But if you want audio, then still it's 25. We have an opportunity to work deep. If you want to pay it forward, you can do a $5, 15, or 25, pay it forward for somebody else to enjoy themselves. Or just, however you choose you want to do things. But this is, if I've never given you a reading before, then this is your opportunity that I will give a free read. But we will move on there. Great message. Thank you, Vicki. Yeah, it's St. Patty's Day here, I believe. This is March 17th. I believe it is St. Patty's Day. I'm just guessing. But green is what I'm supposed to go for. And I'm like, I like this. I have had my hair up in a bun for like ever since summer started. And so it feels weird to actually feel that my hair is down. Yes, it is for me. Thanks. And so I can't stop playing with it. And I also feel like a lot of people that have okay, so I know that like hairdressers, people like this, your mom's really here, okay? Just let you know, Ayme. This is a good thing. This is a good thing. All of it's good. Okay, so April Lynn has, let me get into the right page here. So April Lynn is paid, and she said that she's doing this particular program over and over and over. And so she asked for a chat. I'll put her down. Thank you for campaign and energy exchange. And then we have Ayme that says she's coming on. So we got the video. All righty. Yes. My body just did like it's weird. I want to say it's like a hormonal hormones, but they're coming through with different couple things. Okay. So this is what we're going to say, and we're going to have to probably talk quick. So good thing that you can rewatch it a bunch of times, because it's coming through really fast. They said, pay attention, pay attention. Nice as I am. They said, this is one of the things that's happening for, where it always seemed like the triple warmer was at play, that now we're going to look at what meridian has been really like stabbing you in the shoulders or affecting you. And that is a small intestine. So moderator on that one screen, Nikki has asked a question. So small intestine. Now the small intestine comes up from here, it goes up and then dips down in. This point back there for the small intestine, they said that what you're going to hear is we're going to say, now do you carry pain in that area? You're like, okay. So one, they want you to be able to stretch your spine. So there's something that has what's called a Denner roll, but you can take a towel, nice big fat towel, and you put it underneath your shoulders, and then you lay on the floor and let your head tip back, okay? And what happens is that you're starting to tell the spine, let's get rid of the bad posture for the day, or the leaning over. So your spine wants this extra help, okay? So again, laying flat on the floor, putting a towel underneath, and your head would be bent forward or backwards like this, okay? And you just sit there 20 minutes. Start off with maybe 1 minute. If it hurts too much, do your best, but you don't need to go back to go beyond 20 minutes. And you do that every day, and you'll start to help the upper part of your spine. And so that the part of it is, so you don't have to get that hump. Now, what's causing all of that stuff that happens, we're talking to the small intestine, is that I want to take that part of the small intestine, and I want you to, you have always had people like poo-poo upon your dreams, especially when you were little. And so what we're going to do is that this is the other thing that has come forward, is that the magnetic field has changed because of the frequencies, that we can tap into them further now. So you're going to go over to the left side, then the right, and you're going to use your magnet on that point. And after you do that 24 times, then you're going to rub deeply 30 times. Now you're going to have to do this maybe a couple times. I would say 3 times a day, up to 15 days. Why so long? Because the small intestine is saying that there is a right and wrong. Now, you, as one of my students, I want you to pay attention, because as a tribal healer as well, you are going to start seeing more as your observer self, and you're going to start noticing and questioning right and wrong. You'll start noticing you're right. That's not the right way. Did I just say that? Right and wrong, and it's about this topic. Okay. Notice the passion of this. And then all of a sudden somebody will come in and start doing it their way, and you're like, there's a little girl that's so mad at her mom. Okay, so this is what's happening here. So what that means is that I want you to start to really look at how your heart had to be taking and doing the emotions and judging others. And, somehow it's all connected to that small intestine in the back. So you then will go left wrist, first position, soft, okay? Because you're supposed to always make sure your dreams are interrupted with other people's right and wrongs, and you will hear it as criticism, because I know you want to learn how to sing. Okay. I know that I need to open this up so I can open up the diaphragm so that I can get the flow of energy. So I know I'm a sucky singer, but I also can see that where I'm a good singer, that I'm going to practice, and that I'm going to change, and I'm going to have growth. But I also know I had to heal out when somebody would go, "Ugh, you failed, you this, you can't do this," because they don't believe in the potential that you can actually learn. I am holding space that I know you can learn. So now you're going to heal your heart. Left wrist, first position, nice and deep. And you're going to hear how your heart was crushed when somebody go, "You sing," or, "Oh, I've heard you, dear." Okay. Your programming as a little has always was, "Oh my God," and be crushed, be crushed, be crushed. I want you to start to measure those crushed and where you had to form yourself into this is my world. Okay? Because you, and I can see it because I've heard you sing and I love the words you use. And this is why me and you have a report of saying, oh, did you hear this person sing? And did you hear that? And I mean, these frequencies and these vibrations. And because I know that once you get your voice back and once you're able to use your voice, literally, it is going to help set a tone and you're going to help that heart feel more safe to be, if that makes sense. So, when you start to notice that you do not have to do an epigenetic, you do not have to keep following the same pattern as your parents, then you can say, wait a minute, did I just go through vulnerability and did I really necessarily need to do vulnerability? I don't know if I want to do vulnerability. And now you're not only doing right and wrong, but you're looking at this vulnerability. You're looking at how other people are very vulnerable and you had to mimic that, anxiety, whatever. Then you're going to do again, left hand first position, nice and deep, because you are not other people's vulnerability, if that makes sense. Okay, you've got this. She says, yes, I do that to help with my neck. And when she's talking about the roller thing. Okay, so now we're going to start to help you not to have an onset adult scoliosis. You do not have to. Again, talk to your doctors, talk to your chiropractors, talk to everybody else. I'm only in this metaphysical aspect of what it means, but go get, again, this is for entertainment purposes only. Okay, go out there, April. I know you can. I love it. Now, I see that we have Christy Ryan. You have a question, and then we have a Beatrice. Okay, so you kind of have a free reading, but people have paid, so that means an expedite that get to jump in front of you. So I need to honor my rules. And so we have the next person, and that is, oh, she says a reading for Jen and me. And then we have, I think it's Nikki. Yes, Nicki G. Oh, well, there's my pen. So we have Nicki G. Okay. And I will get to that in just a moment. So the first person is for Jen and me. So we're going to have Jen first. So it's Jen Osika here, and then Pam. And so we'll go in that order. And here we go. And then if nobody else is paid, then if you're still here, Christy and Beatrice, I will give you a free reading. Thank you for the hearts, Miss April Lynn. I appreciate that. Davyn says, I think I stretched a wrong way, overstretched, and now I'm feeling a tingling in my back. Breathe it through, and just, don't hook into, oh my God, and fear, okay? Just allow yourself to be in the space that lets it go. And what would be the other option? It feels good. It feels healthy. Not the thing you're staring at. Like, for instance, if you had your foot, okay, this one's healthy, this one you stubbed and it hurts. Start looking, telling your brain, my foot, feels good. And if you have to do the mirror technique where your eyeballs are looking in the mirror and you're looking at the foot that's healthy and your brain sees the foot that's hurt, well, it's going to start thinking it's healthy. So you can work in with your brain. So Miss Jen O, I'm got to find the right screen. There she is. I'm here. She says, thank you, Pam. Okay, good to see you. Hopefully you're all healthier now. You went through a whole bunch of whatever, I don't know what flu or whatever came your way, but yay, you made it through 100%. Great job. Oh, thank you, Ayme, for sharing the video. I appreciate it. She shared it on Facebook. We deeply appreciate these things. Hold on, I lost my screen. There we go. Oh, got it. Okay. There's a choosing. I keep hearing a choosing. Okay, a choosing. So that's the first thing. You keep choosing something very particular that keeps the personality, that keeps this. So now I'm going to say, and we see what meridians are choosing. They said, yes, the large intestine and the liver. They keep choosing. They keep choosing. So I said, what do you mean? choosing helplessness and choosing the lie. So large intestine represents helplessness, that you were learned helplessness, and then there's the lie. Okay. And I said, all right, if those two are firing, do you want, they go, keep going. Then you have to keep attracting in the particular story that you are going to, I am being manipulated. I am being influenced. I am. Oh shit, you got that now? Okay. So as we look at this, she says, I'm going to say this is liver because it's a lot of regret. Have you regretted anything? And I think it's subtle because I'm going to look this up. I'm going to look this up real quick because when the physical body expresses itself to the point that it makes a manifestation on the physical surface, okay, then it's going to mean a metaphysical meaning, because what are you being? What are you being? And hopefully I can find it real quick. I can't use the search feature because it just does not do it. She said the word shingles. Generalized dread. Yes, regret. I'm stressed. I'm carrying. Okay. Okay. Now I'm hearing a lot of regret, and I'm going to say to really look at this. Your liver is not able to clean out the blood like it's meant to fight it off. And so as you keep doing this, the environment keeps telling your DNA to keep repeating something. So what you're going to do for regret is left wrist, second position, deep. Okay. Now, generalized dread, and this is for shingles, they are in effect waiting for the other shoe to drop. Have you been waiting for the other shoe to drop? So as you're moving forward, as you're doing certain things, another shoe is going to drop. I don't know what that meaning is for you, but you do if you understand it. And go a little further, they are experiencing much anxiety that things will go badly. It's just going to go badly for me. It's just going to go badly for me. And this is your little girl around 3 years old that I had a bad experience. Now the other shoe is going to drop and it's going to keep getting bad. And it's just going to get worse because that's all you saw the grown-ups do, but that's all you felt. You felt the emotional peptides. You felt it. You even started to see the same way as the family. So in this case, we need to break that relationship of the manipulation. So it's right wrist, third position, deep. Yes, you keep seeing the donors getting denied. Okay, so right wrist, third position, deep. Okay, R3, do you want it deep? We're going to go soft, And I want you to feel how you are meant to see your dreams disappear. You can't have your mother when you were little, your dad or your grandma, and the joys just disappear. These things that could give you joy and health disappear. And I want you to literally see denied, and you're like, oh my God. And how anxiety is saying, we started with 0. Then let's say 5 people appeared, and now we're back to 0. There's nobody left. Not only are you feeling denied, but there's not it. That's it. You're done. Boom. Feel how you believe. Boom. That's it. I'm done. Because it's not true. But you're showing yourself a very strong experience that you've experienced at 3 years old. And you can hear and feel in live time in this moment about your life. It's happening. It happened then. It's happening again. Oh my God, it's going to continue to happen. Measure how strong it is, and really allow yourself to hang out with how the world is dressing you, saying, you can't have it. It has to be this way. And it's gaslighting you and you're stuck with this and blah, blah, blah. And it's making you forget all this beautiful way of how you expressed, how you had the ability to manifest. It makes you forget your infinite possibilities. Well, it happened once, it's going to happen again. Now I'm going to just focus on that because my flippant thinking and thing is this is happening. Generalized dread, here we go again. Extreme anxiety, oh my God. So when you start working with your shingles and saying, oh my God, I want you to feel how you believe in the limitation and that you're supposed to sit with this dread, but this dread is invading the lung area, which is very interesting because it says I'm supposed to have self-imposed limitation, but you're going to hold the R2S. Now you've got two emotions. One is supposed to be dread, that's supposed to be in the gallbladder, but that had gone into the lung and you, oh my God, the grief with the dread. But then it didn't just stick there. Those two jumped into the stomach. And so you have invading energies, double piggyback energies in the stomach that I'm irrelevant. Anxiety that my future is this. There is no future. My future is this. And I want you to hold right wrist, second position, soft. You're certain that this is your future, that this is all you got. Instead of looking at infinite possibilities, the name of your business means the quantum field. We're going to help you stop focusing on the one, let it go. Thank you, Spirit, for the loophole, and you're going to start pulling in those infinite possibilities. But you gotta break up with my identity is this generalized dread, this, oh my God, I'm irrelevant, I'm helpless, I'm helpless, I'm helpless. I want you to bring up your 3-year-old as well. Have them hold that same point. You understand? Good. All righty. Now, I know you can heal. I know you can do this. I'm holding that space for you. I know you can. We're going to jump over to, before we go a little further, shingles. There's a couple more things, so just listen. Yes, you're waiting for the shoe to drop, but that Maslow's hierarchy of need, my needs need to be met. When you're little, there were too many other people competing for attention because they needed their needs met. So in shingles, the metaphysical meaning is also they have a great need and desire for nurturance, protection, and affection that you didn't get enough of when you were that age. So your little knows other people are going to get it. So it has this great need that I need nutrients, protection, and affection. And I want you to go to right wrist, first position soft. And then, again, that's that complete need. It says their agitated anxiety is a result of their being hypersensitive in the finding the cat is stomping loudly fashion. Ah, you know what that means. There's also a great deal of anger, frustration. So not only is you sitting here in this dread, but you're also now, okay. But you couldn't have, you had to be a good girl. You had to do these things. So I think this is then where I want you to look, and you had to live with the lie that you couldn't get your needs met, that you couldn't. And it wasn't a lie to you at that time, but it's something that you're carrying forward. Left wrist, second position deep. Okay. Miss Pam. Miss Pam. Okay. My body is wanting me to pay attention to it. My body is like going, oh, I gotta scratch, I gotta cough, I gotta. And usually that means that the outside, there's something about the outside. So you have to be in hyper alert, or you have to be because the body, because now I just want to scratch. I feel like my hormones are out of balance, but I'm also feeling I have to protect myself. So I have to notice that. So have you noticed gaining weight? Have you noticed? So I feel, because I'm listening to the cells now, the visceral the cells, the fat cells that swell up. I said, what are you saying? And they said, I have to protect myself because I hate feeling small. And I hate this feeling of feeling small when I'm having conversations. So take that second and understand, do people make you feel small? Okay. Because if you do, then we need to look at how you feel small, because the body says, I hate feeling small. So it feels like it has to beef itself up. And if you can relate to how you feel like you're an object and that what you say doesn't matter, and you're very smart, but some people just, and you're like, stop it. Okay. If you can relate to this, Pam, are you here? I started the reading without getting to see if you were present. So I'll pause the reading just for a moment, making sure that we can have Pam present. So again, we'll have 2 different timestamps if necessary. So hopefully, I believe it's this room here. You guys enjoying the show? Remember, you have a choice, you have a chance, and you can grow. There was a spike in people watching, and then that's okay. We're looking at who and where people are. There she is on this one. Okay. Did you hear that first part? Did you hear that first part? How the body's talking, how the body is saying that I feel small, and so then the body has to get big. Okay. She says she's not sure about feeling small. Okay, so I'm going to ask Spirit to, do I need to elaborate? And this is yes. Okay, so let's see what I can get. Have you ever felt insignificant in a conversation, or felt stupid or humiliated, even though what your conversation and stuff that you've said, is true, but you happen to be around people that are kind of stupid? So they think that what they say is the truth when you're here going, I have facts, I got figures, I got science. Okay. And so sometimes people will talk that they have to make themselves more important, and you're like, what? And so it feels like sometimes there's a competition, or they're into themselves. Okay. Now you could be put down, you could be humbled, you could be forced to be in feeling small, or this sometimes is some people's way of, this is social skills. Okay. Now, as this began, what I'm hearing is this. When you first had these encounters, I'm looking at you about, wow, they keep going from 2, 3, 4. This is very strong, 2, 3, 4 for you, very strong. So it's not just, it's just like this whole, like couple years, just really strong. That, so that might be like, maybe an aunt came in or somebody came in and was there, and then they disappeared. But it was such a strong energy field that this is how they made themselves feel better, superior, and they wanted to be heard. And I feel like maybe you took the brunt. It's like taking the piss. What else? It's weird, because at that age, and what Spirit is showing me is like you were in the room and somebody was doing that to your mother, I think, or your mother was doing it to somebody else. But you were there, and you felt it because you have the gifts before you really shut them down. You felt, and because you were little and we absorb in the first 7 years are very crucial, you felt it, but somehow you felt that it had meaning for you. What are you referring to? And your soul is saying, I have to, in order for them to give me attention. So I think you were trying to pick up and relate to. I feel like it was like two women talking or something. Because you could hear the manipulation of someone talking and trying to get them to do something out of sympathy, and they have to push that energy, and then the other one has got to make the other one feel small, and in order to feel important. And there's all of this. Yeah, you just don't like the social skilling. I feel like that's kind of put you off. Um, Wow. Where I'm going is you're saying, I can't figure something out. And I said, she's saying it right now. They go, no. When you were around 4, I think whoever it was that was in your space had gone. I feel like the identity, and I could go with your mom, that there was a certain amount of, I don't know who I'm supposed to be. Now, I don't know if she lost somebody and her identity was wrapped up into losing somebody, but you could feel how all of a sudden your mother was feeling lost. Because that part of this person that was always there is gone. And you're like, you're feeling this, okay? Now, what I'm feeling is that how I believe, again, I feel it's your mother, how she coped, handled, and dealt with this identity that she had, and this person was gone. Um, she had to figure out who she was supposed to be. And I don't know if they gave help or if they were some sort of companion or if they were somehow they were an influence. But that's part of that security disappeared. If you have not had this, it's hard to explain, but like you can see it like when married couples, they're each other's identity, and then one dies, they don't know what to do with themselves. They can't reinvent themselves, and so they start to wither away, or they try to get left to their own devices and they're not doing so well. Does that give you a clue? So what I feel is that it could have been the energy pulls between people. So I feel like your mom was in a very strong era where it's like she was put in certain positions and then she had to use her position. And at the same time, she was pushed in that position and her energy was taken away. So there's this battle of energies and energy pulls, and communication is a social thing, is that you're supposed to take each other's energy. And you have to be lofty. You have to make sure your voice and your tone, my securities or my mom, you are going to be expression of what you learned the first 7 years of your life. And you can look at and say, who and how is my mother being? And you can kind of have an idea. Do you still have those securities? Did you pick up anything? Can you see certain patterns? When it comes to one of your successes, I says, is this about safety? No. Security? Yes. Stability? No. Sanity? Yes. Serenity? Yes. Freedom? Yes. So there's a part of you that have to fight for your freedom, security, and I can't remember what the other ones I said, serenity and sanity. So it's like you have to keep putting yourself in these positions where you can't have peace. Does that make sense? You're new to this. Okay, so give her something so that she understands. My body has to protect itself from other people's behaviors, their gestures, their tone of voice, their belief systems. And your body is telling me that it's overwhelmed by the environment, by the people, by the thoughts, by this. And the body is saying, I need to protect myself. Intellectually, you're totally fine. You're hanging out, you're doing things, but the body says, I've had enough. I've had enough. Your body is saying, I've had enough. So let's say if you lost 20 pounds, you'd probably gain it back because your body's saying, we didn't change the environment or the people in the environment. And when I was talking earlier about how did your mother, did it feel like somebody left her so that she could be vulnerable? That's what I was saying about her. Now, if you want to look at it, have you lost anybody recently where you felt you lost your identity? Because this is how it'll show up. Like, I feel like I lost my security, or I feel like, um, so who am I? So, like, I don't know if you ever retired. So you would go, this is my identity, is my job. And now I don't have that. Who am I now? And the everyday routine, the everyday thinking, the everyday being is now so changed that you will go through a mourning process until you reinvent yourself. Okay, so I'm giving you different correlations here. But to help you, when you find something that pops in, you're like, okay. Because to see the body and understand that the body is overwhelmed, but can put up with, co-handle and deal with a person. Now I feel like this is you and mom. So her behavior, her communication, her way of personality is that sometimes that environment, your body's like going, oh. If you can relate to that last thing that I said, I want you to start working on how it pulls you from who you are. You don't feel confident. You have to focus on this. Okay, so okay, so yes, I have retired to yes, that part is true and resonates. Okay, so the body is saying, I don't like the environment, but this is my environment. I'm used to it. I made it my normal, but the body says it still bothers me. I have to protect myself from that. We're using the word scorch. So certain types of scorning, certain type of right and wrong, certain type of limitations. It's like scorching what maybe the gestures or the tones or something that's coming at you. However it is, the heart is going, okay, defining the new me. Okay, so I'm going to hold space for the new you. We're going to help the heart to say, I'm done with that part of the old you. Take that energy into the new you. So you do left wrist, first position deep. Okay. And just because you can't be confident and every time you take one step forward to do you can't do it perfect because you haven't just been that yet. So it's like I don't like, it could be the word criticism. I'm not sure, but it's like, it's also maybe some gaslighting or narcissistic, or just you really can see the difference in belief systems. And it's like your body's just like, it doesn't stop you from loving them. It's just the body is saying, oh my God, this vibration just gets me. It's just, ugh. Okay, hope that makes sense. Now, Nicki G, are you here on the screen? And I'm going to read what you wrote. Let's see. Oh, I feel annoyed. It's just kind of good. So can I read it out loud? Nicki G. Or Nicole G. Well, I can't pronounce it. I'm going to butcher it. She's there. Hi. Okay, can I read it out loud? Yes, I can. Okay. My perspective, my parents have been drastically challenging. At times I feel annoyed or disconnected. So I was wondering if I could get some guidance on this new path. Okay, so we're going to address the energy that you need to have this new path is saying, the soul is saying, can I heal this now? And that is, my perspective about my parents has been drastically changing or challenging. So you can feel energy loss. You can feel, I feel like I've been transforming. That's why I'm bothered. Yes, you're waking up, but you're still seeing, and this is the gift of your soul, is saying you have energy loss to that challenge. You're still losing power. You're still agreeing to it. You're still connected to it. And that is what we have to heal. Okay. So your soul is, I'm proud of you. Your soul is going, oh, I'm observing this. And the soul says, can we heal it now? And so when you look at how they're behaving, you're losing power because I'm looking at the word. So this is where we have to write down like certain things. So I'm looking at the word longing. And then there's a deficient. There's some fear. Invalidating. I think that's to do with communication. And we're talking about 5 years old. So your 5-year-old self is saying that it longs for, longs to not feel deficient. It longs for, I don't want to feel this way. I don't want to feel this way. I don't, and then when I ask, you don't want to feel this way. Yeah, because this invading energy comes in. It's so aggressive. So how their energy field is coming in is very much aggressive. So your child part of you saying is that I can't help that even if they smile, I can feel this aggression to it. Invalidating and fear for sure. Yes, longing feels heavy. Oh, okay, good, good, good. So your fiber, I'm longing for, why can't I just have my mom and dad? Why can't I just have love? Why can't I just have fun and happiness and this? So it's longing from the, oh, my battery. Oh, I hope I don't lose you. You might have to go into the other computer, YouTube, the other TikTok, if that goes down, okay? Even Facebook. Okay. So when you heal, I want you to heal from the little child, the 5-year-old going, oh, I just want my happiness back. Okay. And you're going to start doing that with L1D. And then you are going to then notice that the energy to which makes you feel that you've lost this happiness is that it's in here. And they said they want you to do left wrist. Yes, L1D. D represents deep. Okay. So that is just when you're standing there going, oh, I'm longing. Measure longing 0 to 10, 10 being, oh, I'm really longing. Okay. Because that part of you needs to heal and grow. And you're going to go to left wrist, first position, soft. Now, the first one was deep. This one is soft. So the thumb is just going to lay slight soft. Okay. So you're going to do this. Okay. Now, this one is that you feel it coming in. I need you to measure how fast is it coming in? Is it coming in like a Mack truck? Are they doing this because they're trying to control me? However it is, you need to write down how you know, and give it a measure. Once you've done that, and once you can see the aggression and how the body goes, okay, once you've done this, then you are going to allow yourself to hold that L1S and feel the way that that child feels. Okay, she's like, oh, all right. Now, the invalidating. This is like in certain communication. I'll let the grown-ups talk here. And you're like, or, oh, I had this, I went to the doctor, yeah, well, mine was worse. However, your voice of being connected, it gets invalidated. Or if you have an emotion and you're in shock and you're communicating and they go, oh, you can, just, yeah, she says invalidating, especially when it comes to my older sister. There you go. Now you know your perspective. This is where your body goes, I know I'm being manipulated. I know that something's here. Oh, it's all in your head, dear. And you're like, but no, I know it's real. So you're going to go right wrist, third position. Okay. And you're going to do it soft. And and you look. So listen to the gestures, the tone of the voice, the words, and just sit there. Now, this comes with the second part. This comes with the stomach. Okay. The stomach is going, I have anxiety because it's like every time, I got to go to dinner. I've got to, so the body is going, you're going to go the right wrist again, this time the second position, and you're going to do it nice and soft. Okay. Okay. So can you see the directions on how to define how you know and measure? Okay, so I want to make sure we're on the same page here. Okay. All right. Yes, I can. All right. Now, somebody's on the other side. I don't know. It feels like more of a grandmother, very much that has high authority. Like, let's say they were the matriarch and she ran everything. Do you understand what I mean? She would, her say, her way. Does that make sense? Okay. All right. Well, it's very strong. It's very coming in. And they're like, don't worry, dear, I'm not like that over here. But I just need you to understand that that's how they learned, was that they have to step up and take my place. And so do you feel, oh God, all right, my teeth are hurting. That represents usually decisions. So it's like they have to undermine your decisions because they have to put themselves in the role, not of just parent, but they know right from wrong. And that does that sound like what they are doing? Because this is very strong coming in, that this is how they would have to feel to be as again, if that's the grandmother, then it has to be this is how the child, okay? Um, okay, so you are this okay, this day and age, because the heart and brain are opening up, you're gonna be looking at how right and wrong, right and wrong. Okay. So you're going to look at these right and wrongs and you're going to start realizing that who wrote these rights and who wrote that these were wrong. And do you have to follow the ones that have been created so many years ago? Okay. All right. And the thing is if you don't follow, was there consequences like being yelled at, a beating, it's just like if you drive wrong, you can get a ticket. Okay, yes, she knows what I'm talking about. Okay, so this is all right. So this is the grandma or whoever she is. She's like, we have to break this, and you would call this yelling and beating. Okay, you would have to call this as a generational curse. But at the same time, stop believing that you need to do this and stop believing you have to receive this. She says, definitely the receiving part, and you're going to do left wrist first position because you feel is that that is what love is, that's what parenting is, that's what relationships are, that's what where you're supposed to be the victim, you're supposed to be this. And they said you're moving into the new you where it's like no, so new information of how to be is coming through. So but in the meantime the little girl has told that no, you have to be, take it this way, you have to receive it this way, you have to. So this is where you would go left wrist first position deep. Okay, because your identity is changing to be a healthier alignment, but until you get there, you have to say, wait a minute, I don't have to feel like I'm going to get punished because I didn't do the right thing. I felt my great grandmother from my mom's side is very much after she passed. I think this is why. Okay, okay, but very much it's like yes, you've got this. You've got heaven on your side. Um, you they're rooting for you. You even have some angels that are like, yep, yep, we know that we're that you've got this. And so you're definitely moving into the new you. And they said that you do not have to feel like you need to obey. And it's that feeling that you needed to obey, do the right and wrong. So you got some homework to do. You're going to watch it with people. You're going to notice that even if you do it the right way, somebody else is going to come from a different culture and it's going to be a completely different way. But then you don't have to hold in judgment and go, I have to do that the right way because they're doing it the wrong way and I'm supposed to condemn those that are wrong, blah, 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 blah. You're going to be breaking up that whole relationship and it's going to get confusing at times. So make sure you do right wrist, first position, soft. Okay. All right. So now that takes care of Nicki G. So then it has Ayme. Now, my question then is anybody still here that, or if anybody here that's never had a reading from me before, here's your chance to have a free one. And if you want to pay, thank you for sharing. Thank you for subscribing. You can go ahead and use PayPal. That's 25, 15, or 5. If you want to gift something, you are more than welcome to do so. So it's okay. I have been very good at rebelling that identity. Okay, now we're going to heal it out because you need that energy to support the new you. She's, yes, I hate that feeling to obey. I've always been tested that way. Yes. And now you can start rewriting that rule because when it's like, you need to obey, and this falls under, at this point, everything we just talked about. Okay. Just had an interesting realization about what's going on with my body and why it's is acting a certain way. Oh, very good, very good. So is Beatrice still here, or any? I think they're gone. Um, because I asked, just hold on and I get back to you. So if you are ready to get a reading, then you can. Yes, thank you. I'll check back with all the positions when I need it. Okay. Very good, very good. All righty, let me just double check again. If you have never had a reading from me before, this is your time. This is that you can. I'm going to hit refresh, make sure nobody else has wrote. And we're going to go here. Oh, that looks good there. I love you too. I'm going to save this and I have to go, but we'll just still read. Okay, so she's gonna still read me, or she goes, you can still read me, please, and thank you. Okay, so her name's Beatrice, so we're gonna write that down. She gets her free read. And as we allow this, the energies are shifting. Oh, she's got a lot of shifting going on. So who she is not who she was. And she is, I think she really had a cosmic initiate. She is, ho, ho. So there's something that she knows, she knows, she knows. And that's that part of her soul is saying the soul's urge is now very much present. So this is good. This is good. So Beatrice, here we go. Okay, so the first thing they said is the body. So we're going to put down body. The body's habits. Okay, so you're doing some form of self-imposed limitation. I can't do this. I'm not allowed to do this. As you stop yourself from doing, your body then says it has the habit of building false realities. Okay, so the body's sitting there going, I'm incompatible. I can't do it. And so it stops you from literally being able to yeah, it just stops. I can't. So there's this very strong, so that the body has said, this is a habit. I can't do this, and I can't behave the way I want. Wow. It keeps repeating this over and over. So her mind, her soul, she has woke up, but the body is not in sync with her soul at this point. And the body, because my whole body's like, oh, I can't be confident. This is what I've learned. So all the programs are different than how she is actually being as a spirit being. If she can wake up and begin to notice that her body is building these realities that I can't do it. This is old routine. This is what I thought of before. This is who I am. This is what she can be as a spirit. Go, wait a minute. I can feel my body act this way. Okay. I can feel my body act this way. In this case, it is a rapid what? I have to take offense. The body says my continuous habit is I have to, it's like a knee jerk, rapid. I have to take offense. That is how I protected myself as a child. I have to constantly do this over and over and over and over and over and over. That I have to knee jerk. I have to do this. Okay. Over and over. And to help break this up, you're going to go left wrist, third position, nice and soft. And you're going to help the body. And this is where you're going to tune in and you can feel like it's You can feel its limitation as you begin to feel free. You'll be able to feel the things I just said. And as you're holding this and leaving it there in place, breathe. Very much importantly, you breathe in and out, breathe in and out. Okay. Because the body is saying that it needs to release this memory. And I said anything particular about this memory, and it is how people would use words to keep you doing what they want, their bidding, staying around the household, doing this, being a good girl, blah, blah, blah. So right wrist, first position, soft, also. You measure it. Now, you're new to me. What that is, this is called Success Hope Therapy. That's 6 S's. Safety, security, stability, sanity, serenity, and space. That's freedom. And any of those are imbalanced, then we use the meridians and we use the frontal lobe to bring the blood back up to your forebrain to create reality more. So we want to balance the brain and we want to help the body to release. So you're going to learn to measure. Oh, that feels like a 10. Oh my God, yes. And you're holding and you're focusing on that, not, oh, this is why. If you're thinking this is why, and you've come to conclusions, you're saying you don't really want to hear it. But if you stop, okay, Jenney, I'll do that. Then you will go ahead and you'll feel how you know it's true for you. Feel how the body is like going, okay? Let the body be in charge. Don't try to invalidate the body. The body is saying, I've been here a lot longer than that thought in your head. So it has these experiences. So help the body. You may have to do this a couple times, but once you get it to 0, you'll be able to feel the difference. Then you have to witness. Wow, I feel better. Wow, this, wow, that. Okay. All righty. Okay, Jenney. Glad to know that you hadn't, and now I'll give it to you. And I think gets extra because, yeah, Ayme brought her. So here we go. You've been really new to this stuff, but you've been really in it for a long time. And you really love how it feels like the nice foundation is really supporting you, that you are feeling safe. And that's good. That's good because you're starting to notice that your soul is starting to be more in charge. But there's this old self-preservation that kicks in. And around 6.5 years old, you felt like you couldn't protect yourself, you couldn't do something. And so the self-preservation, to understand self-preservation, you need to look it up. But what happens is then when you feel that your no is not heard and you're forced to do something you don't want to do, and so then you will do everything in your power to make something stop. So it's in that space where there's fear. Tell me if that connects with you. And around 6.5, there's a part of you that felt there's impending doom. Now, because your body had memorized the impending doom, and it hasn't, from my understanding, I think it may have showed up around again at 9 of something. And I said, is there an emotion, besides emotions of impending doom, is there something else? How love is very critical. Yes, abuse. Okay. All right. So 6 and 9, or 6.5 and 9 were very two crucial points for you. So what you're going to do is that you're going to do left wrist, second position soft, and you're going to just measure a very distinct feeling. You have to find that distinct feeling where you had said to yourself, I don't trust you. Now, what happens is that you said it to people, but what you really said it was to your higher self. I don't trust you, because it's like, why didn't God save me type thing? Why weren't you there? Why, when I prayed and I cried, you weren't there? So this is very much on a spiritual level, if that makes sense, because I feel, okay, I just had a flash, like in a past life where you've like I've had my my last past life of being a medicine woman, um, um, being a very much a native, knowing that white man cometh, blah blah blah. But what I'm hearing here is that there's a habit, this habit of where you always seem to be taking people from certain particular lifetimes um, that are supposed to be so lofty, so authoritative, so intense. And so I said, can we go back? And they go, yes. If we go back, how many times her soul had dreamed? We have to go back six particular. So you've done this six times consecutively. Thought I was going through hell. Yes, yes, yes. Okay, so when the first time it happened was the very first time is that six lifetimes ago. There was you wanted to know what it was to trust, okay? And you were exploring the word trust and distrust, and so you had, what are you going to do? And that one particular thing is that you felt as you were in the illusion of life, you felt this other person, the environment, pull your energy. A very strong sensation, and that you felt like when I was flew out of the car, there was no way to recover. I couldn't grab onto anything. There was nothing underneath me. And it's like, if you've never had that feeling, then you won't know what I'm talking about. But if like when I fell and broke my fingers, as I'm falling, there's no way to recover, to protect myself, no way to stop it from happening. This is gonna happen. So, okay, she does. Okay, so it's in that space of, oh my God, I'm good. Very distinct, because what happens is that at that point you're going to have to endure, and you have a certain amount of helplessness. The body and the soul has listened to this for such a long time, if that makes sense. And so what we're looking at here, they're showing me that you feel very timid, very, very timid. Okay. And that there's this, I'm an adult now, I'm thinking different, I've overcome it. But again, this is a soul issue. This is the way the soul says, okay. And we want to break up this pattern. And I'm going to tell you that first, we're going to have to understand is that you're going to have to look at the R2S, right wrist, second position, and you're going to notice how the lofty energy, the energy has the ability to pull the energy. Okay, it pulls, it has the control. You're just like, okay. Do this only when it comes up. Out of mind, you're doing really good at protecting yourself. But when something repeats, your soul's going to go, oh, can you heal it now? That's when you're going to tap in. And the key thing is when somebody becomes very self-centered, not center self, self-centered. Be that a key, because the body's going to do a thing, and your brain, and you're like, fine. Your body's going to go, what the effing A? When that happens, it's right wrist, second position, soft. When you begin to feel the energy pull, where you're supposed to keep believing it and you have no control over it, then you are going to do R3S, right wrist, third position, nice and soft, because you can say, they're going to start manipulating. Here it comes. And you're going to start, even if it's way after the fact, you're going to eventually keep healing and holding this point where all of a sudden you're going to be experiencing it, and you're going to watch it happen, and they're going to start to pull, and you're like, I don't think so. And you're going to start breaking this particular pattern from the soul level, very deep soul level. Holding space for you. I know you can do this. Okay, because I see the pattern in your other timelines that says we've already done it. Now we just have to get the rest of us to do it. Okay, that's awesome. Okay, so anybody else here that has never had a reading before that would like one, you're more than welcome to. Okay, I'm going to double check to make sure I didn't miss anything. And we're good there. And now you're welcome. You're welcome. But it has your attention. Now she's got mine. Davyn, you smelled something. You're like, oh, there it is. Your brain has recognized something. And is it good, bad, or indifferent? These are the three good, bad, or indifferent. And then It's like she's like, I can't explain it because I feel like it doesn't exist. But either way, it's got your attention. It can be measured. And does it feel good, bad, or indifferent? And if it feels good, okay, no problem. It probably somebody's trying to speak to you, learning different skills, waking up parts of yourself. If it feels bad, then you can say, oh, it's connected to something else. And then you can say, I'm going to calm myself down, right wrist, third position, soft. And it feels indifferent. You can go, okay, thank you, Spirit, for bringing to my attention. And I'm going to put it on the shelf until you explain later what it's for. Okay, I'm going to go get my link, which means I open this up. And I'm going to go get, oh, here we go. And now go get Ayme because she is paid to come on. And that's not the right link, Brenda. There you are. We hit paste. Link. Very good. Okay. You're welcome. You're welcome. Okay, so if you're new here and have never had a reading, I'll give you one. You can just re-listen to your readings over at YouTube. It becomes a subscriber. Remember to hit the thumbs up, and that would be, oh, have I already done that? Oh, I have. Oops. And we do have a new subscriber. Woohoo! Thank you, people. Let's keep it going. What am I doing now? No, I've got it. Hi, Miss Angela. I know you had a rough time because your son passed and you're still dwelling into the pain and the sufferings. And your spirit is saying that you not sure how to move forward. And you have many times had experiences where you can. And your son is saying, just give her a point. And they said, if you want to, you can help your body and the program that keeps going there. Inhale, right wrist, third position, nice and soft. Okay, that's from your son. And oh, let's see. There. Somebody's trying to call me.
I was letting you finish with Angela.
Ah, he's sweet. That's sweet. Okay. So it's good to talk to people. Before we get into what you paid, and I appreciate you paying, it makes a big difference when it comes to energy exchange. I've been listening to your show, and you have been noticing that you've been growing and all this other stuff. And but what else have you noticed with this new energy?
I've noticed that there are more people waking up, but I've noticed that people want to dwell in their yuck.
Yes, thank you. The gallbladder meridian is one of the biggest meridian that goes through the head, goes through the whole body. And this energy field is so like, when I told you about the bottoms of the feet, this is for all of you that are listening. Okay, so the well springs on the bottom of your feet. This helps draw in the love from the quantum field, from the infinite possibilities. And when we get scared, upset, angry, any negative emotion, we shut this off and we disconnect from Mother Earth and from that quantum field of all possibilities. And so we can't really bring that energy through with our spirit because we have selected and said, this is our life. I don't need to pull from the quantum field. And so generations and generations, and like I said, I've been doing nothing but writing, and you've heard that because I'm extremely quiet this whole time. And it's like the wandering in the desert for 40 years. And it was, okay, we took you out of slavery. God led them out of slavery. And because they couldn't stop bitching and complaining, dreading and wallowing, why aren't we there yet? Oh my God, I can't do this anymore. Blah, blah, blah. And they're so stuck with these emotions and so stuck with this particular flippant speaking. And you've had great experiences with that. And so what happens is that you can't get into the promised land. You can't get into that space of love if you're going to hold the negative space. So the old generation of what the old cultures, the old belief systems, the old routine, the old dies off, and then the new pop up, the new generations, a new way of being can enter because they're not holding the pattern. But if they learn bad habits, and do not learn to change that, they can't even get into the promised land. So there are people that are starting to wake up, but they are not aware of their flippant speaking, nor this crucial new language, which is what I am bringing through and what you have replicated and many other of the tribal members have been replicating.
Mm-hmm.
And now you're asked to step up even further to help with bringing this new language in, that if we don't pay attention with our soul, we're going to stay asleep in this matrix. So it's brought to your attention those certain patterns, and especially this one particular pattern is the gallbladder meridian, where we feel defeated. We've already selected that we're going to just be in the nocebo effect and just complain and bitch and moan and groan. Notice how, remember, it is important to you just to be flippant in characteristics of being funny or cutting yourself down or, God, it wasn't gossiping, but there was other shit, and I'm saying, stop.
Mm-hmm.
Don't even say the word try. Stop saying, oh, that kills me. Or that, oh, people don't like me. Stop.
Mm-hmm. Stop.
You had to go cancel, clear, delete, and you had to pull your energies back for things that you've already projected out with new trajectories of fear and impending doom and all of this. And oh my God. And you had to own up to, holy crap, I have to pay attention to what I have been wanting, forcing, creating to happen from old behaviors that don't fit.
Mm-hmm.
So you're like, okay, manipulation, being too cute, doing this because it gets me this, or if I do that, it does this. Those rules don't apply.
Mm-mm. Not anymore.
And you have had to learn the hard way, and you have learned to become more impeccable with yourself. You have learned that, wait a minute, I didn't even realize I was separated. Okay, whatever. And, but you are starting to realize, I don't have to. So now you're not realizing that you moved beyond it. Now you're starting to realize that other people were where you were.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And I can see that a lot with different people. I can see where I was in them, and it's like, okay, here's a hand, here's a tool,
Very good. Very
but I'm
good.
not going to save you.
Very good. That was the biggest thing, is that
Mm-hmm.
you kept saying, save me. That's what I was taught. This is what I'm supposed to do. I'm supposed to give you my pen. And then if you don't take my pen, I have to manipulate you to make you take my pen. And I kept going, no, I don't want this pen, even to the point where I threw across the room and you had to go find your own damn pen.
Yep.
And, you know, and the thing is, then you realize the most important tool was that, why am I giving this away? Because you were taught that.
Mm-hmm.
Will you give your pen away anymore?
No,
Not even to your own BS?
no, God, no. Uh-uh. No, we don't need to give our pen away to anybody else or to our own belief systems, our own bullshit, that the stories that pop up, we can look at them,
Very good. Very
we
good.
can heal them out, and we say, yeah, no, I don't accept this anymore.
Very good. So a lot of people, when they start to wake up, they don't realize that what they're waking up from is the patterns and the programs. Was that one of the things that was hard for you to do, to see?
And again, yeah.
Why? How do you know? How to help other people know where you've been there, done that, just like I've been there and done that. And we can show you that we're the catalog that you can grow and have a happier, healthier life. But how do you know that?
Well, part of it for me was I couldn't feel.
Aha. Tell
I
me, what do you mean?
I I had shut down my emotions. I mean, things would set me off where I would go into a crying jig, but I couldn't feel what it was that I needed to feel in order to start seeing the programs, if that makes
Very
sense.
good. Very good. Because so the thing is one of the things is called keeping around the homestead. So everybody else always had her pen and said, no, I'm going to keep your pen because even I'm going to pick your husband. I'm going to pick this. I'm going to pick your career.
Mhm.
I'm going to pick that. And this is what it's a matriarch. This is what a patriarch. This is what we have to tell you. And you couldn't think for yourself. You couldn't have critical thinking. You couldn't, and even if you did critical thinking, you couldn't even add your heart to it or spirit.
Mm-mm.
So you had to always, and so that was your pattern. You be my mommy, you do this, that, blah, blah, blah.
Mm-hmm.
And then when that safety net disappeared, your whole world began to crash.
It
You had
it
to figure out
crumbled.
how to survive.
Yeah.
Yeah. And your old way was not going to work because your
Mm-mm.
soul had a different agenda. Your
Yes,
soul's
it did.
said, you're going to wake up. And you know how precious and how expensive and how important and how valuable your pen is.
Mm-hmm.
That when you are happy, you are yourself, you're connected to your higher self. And when you don't even notice on it's been very subtle lately, where all of a sudden you're like, oh crap, I need to get back to, I don't need to complain about this. That's a program. So you begin to wake up as a spirit, looking at yourself, going, I just gave myself my pen to my program. I don't have to be in this part. I can just fast forward and not participate. But that's not how I want to live. I want to live, and I'm going to take my pen back. So you caught yourself just flippantly talking about something, like other people do in,
Mm-hmm.
social arena. And how did you notice that you lost power?
I was bitching about something. And
You didn't even know you were bitching about something because it sounded
no,
like that's how you have a casual conversation and in social.
it's like you'd said something on the back end, and I'm like, I did.
Why didn't you take it as an insult or a judgment or
Because it was spirit tapping me on the shoulder through you, saying,
and
"Hey,
you're like, yeah, and you did you see how much power you lost?
uh-huh."
You were just sitting back like la la la, and I'm thinking, spirit goes, she's an echo of herself right now. It's so subtle
It
because
was. It was really
something
subtle.
she's doing something, da 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 da, and she's got to fill that space in, blah 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 blah, because she's on the air and you got to fill that space in, blah 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 blah. And when you noticed, your soul noticed that it was not in charge. Um, can you tell me how you know a little bit further? I feel like somebody doesn't quite.
Um, okay, it's almost like you sink. Like when you're swimming and all of a sudden you stop moving, and if you're not, you will sink if you're not buoyant enough. And that's kind of the feeling I get. It's like my heart sinks. It's like all of a sudden there's a symptom that comes over you where
Good. A
you
symptom.
just kind
Very
of
good.
go off into la la land.
And it's so subtle that this is the program you're supposed to be, and you're like, oh, but then notice how you found joy in bitching, complaining, whining,
Mm-hmm.
and identity. And so now when you're like, think about it, when you're talking to the people, you don't actually hear them, you read them. Um, Notice that, is there a little bit in of how they know that that's them? They recognize themselves when they use those words.
I think so. Yeah.
Okay. So then did you recognize yourself when you were bitching and moaning?
Mm-hmm.
So you recognize that that's who you are, that you're the
That's not
bitch.
who I am now. It's who I was. It's a program.
Okay. And when you started to notice with your soul the difference, did you do what? Did you just go follow it and flow with it? Or
No,
did
I
you?
snapped out of it. I grabbed my anchor point and yeah, no, get back on the
Okay.
seven.
So there's a bit of a awareness that I'm not being my balanced, healthy self. And
Mm-hmm.
when you said all those things and you started putting that trajectory into the future, and the Amazon universe is going, okay, order more of this for her. You woke up and you're like, whoa, stop.
Stop. Can't turn late that.
Okay. And you basically said, no, I'm not going to continue to order this. Is that correct?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And it happened like a couple times, and you're like, whoa. They're saying notice the subtlety.
Mm-hmm.
Why? Because the subtlety is the next thing you need to pay attention to. So when we think of subtle, what is your definition of subtle?
Something that sneaks in. It sneaks in really quiet.
Yes. Okay, so subtle in dictionary terms is especially of a change or a distinction so delicate or precise as to be difficult to analyze or describe, and making use of clever and indirect method of achieving something. So subtle, like, so you were being manipulated by yourself of this program that this is how I'm supposed to act and be. And it's a symptom. So she was doing something. I don't know what you were doing. You were doing your show, you were doing something else, and the topic was complaining about something. Now, your brain is filling in, this is what we're doing, this is what we're annoyed at, or we're supposed to be annoyed at, or you're supposed to lose power to this. And it was so normalized that you're like, that's me. It's not your true self. It was a program. Do you understand what I'm saying? So you're at that fine line, that small distinction that you're fine with it. You were what was the topic? What were you even complaining about?
Was it teeth? Or was it something? No, what was
It
it?
was, I think it was like a common everyday thing for people. I can't remember what it was. I thought that's unusual that you're using flippant thinking, flippant being to call more of this into the existence. And this is, and I'm like, whoa, is this subtle or what? But you were filling in the time. You were filling in the time.
Uh-huh.
And then when I wrote it and told you, I said, I thank you. I said, oh, is it true or something? I can't remember how it went. And you're like, hold
No.
on.
Oh, it's not true?
And okay, so since we can't really grasp on the remembrance, which is a good to some degree, but at the same time, why is this important? Because the subtleties, what we call normalizing, that we will miss, that we will repeat, and that the program will be so about the subtle energy. This is that, okay, so for you, they're telling me that you would have to, anytime a subtlety comes up, it's in the lung, you're going to have to do R1D. Okay, it'll be so subtle. Okay, the symptom that it's supposed to be subtle, that symptom that you're supposed to just go into behaving that way, they're telling me they want you to do L2D because this is where love was a weapon, or this particular negativity you're supposed to love and it's normalized, or somehow this is what life's about and you are supposed to have these moanings and groanings and these things to connect with people. So that's telling me that, oops, your 8-year-old self stood back and go, this is what it's like to be an adult. This is where you're going to explore. Because I've watched other people like, oh, it's time for me to grow up. And so they'll have this conversation, adult conversation of going, oh, this is just me. Am I stupid? or oh yeah, I'm supposed to hate this. Oh, I hate those people. Yeah, this is my opinion. I hate these people, but you can't really back it up because you don't know that you hate. You're only repeating and borrowing.
Mm-hmm.
Your 8-year-old did a lot. This is what it looks like to be an adult. Why'd you laugh?
Because I see myself sitting in the beauty shop listening to all of the gossip.
Okay, so you got a lot of programming. Okay, so you were
Mm-hmm.
eager. You're like, I want to be. So then next time you have your friend and you're talking, yeah, politics. And the person's like, yeah, my parent did politics. So then you're talking politics like a big person, but you guys don't have any concept of what politics is.
Exactly.
Okay. And they said, so they're saying this is really interesting is that you're so part of the subtlety or this symptom that I have to be this adult is you're supposed to bitch about your body. Blame the body. I can't do this because my body this. I can't. Can you hear limitations with that?
Mm-hmm.
And
Oh
then
yeah.
you're supposed to sit down and go, oh yeah, my body caused me such a terrible headache the other day that I couldn't even, I missed my favorite show, blah, blah, blah. And you have to tell so your body's saying, ah, it's been 3 months since you hurt yourself. So time's up. You got to go hurt yourself type thing. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Or you're around somebody and you're supposed to. So when you go visit family,
I do that very rarely.
correct. Oh, little 11 ones. So did you just think back when you visited family and what was the conversation? Because it's so subtle that you can't really show yourself because you know that they couldn't get on your same page. You couldn't even get on the same wavelength. They would change the subject. And then your body is like, socially, I'm going to be a community. We're going to talk about what they're interested in, or we're going to talk about what's the topic is, or this and that. So how subtle.
Oh, it's so subtle. I was with my cousins last Thursday and Friday, and it it sneaks in, and I did
What
my
passions come out?
yeah.
Oh, yeah. What's the first, second, and third chakra? What is it pulling up?
Oh, it was all about politics.
Did you get any
And
battle?
what?
Did you get into battles or did you agree
No,
with them?
I just kept my damn mouth shut.
Gotcha. Got you. But notice how your body is saying, get me out of here.
Uh-huh.
So have you noticed any weight gain?
Mm-hmm.
Notice that the body says, I am the most comfortable at this weight. Because I can't protect myself. There's a belief I can't protect myself from their subtle energies, that subtle influence, all of that, that the fat cells says, I can't process this. So metabolism goes out the door. Oh, this is a bunch of, and so you can't process fats. You can't process this, good or bad. And so the body says, we need to protect us.
Mm-hmm.
And if I show up this way, and the body will say, feel that I'm a cushion. So if they're scorching, I want to say they're using a new word, scorching. Scorching is the other word. The other word that I've been wanting to say is scorn. So their scorning must be really scorching.
Mm-hmm.
So as it comes, it'll just boink, boink, and the body goes, I feel safe being this way. So no matter if you're sitting there and you're disciplining yourself, you're exercising and eating right and lifestyles change, and you go around one particular group of people and boom, your body goes, and you're like, what the
Mm-hmm.
F and A? So the body is saying, so if I'm going to just chat with your fat cells just a little bit. Hey there. Yeah, I'm going to let them down. They're going to let me down. There's a whole lot of letting down. If I let down my hair, they're going to this. And so if I keep myself in this position of slavery, ooh, so that means, hold on, what kind of mindset have you just been in that has to do with, oh, I can't say that online. Hold on. I can't even get the thing up.
Oh,
So, can you see? Can you see it? Okay, so your body was like, I'm not doing this.
mm-hmm.
So that means it's connecting into all of the collective that said, I'm not doing this mindset of just following the leader. I'm not doing this mindset of being in slavery. I'm not doing this pimp in the hole. I'm not going to do all the work so somebody else gets rewarded. Probably. So, but that is what you're waking up from, is like, and how other people are like, this is my norm. What are you talking about? What's wrong with you?
Mm-hmm.
And you're like, you don't see it? And they're like, what is there to see?
Yeah.
Now, this is where you also have to hide so that in plain sight, so
Mm-hmm.
you don't get scorched by their scorn.
Mm-hmm.
And so let's getting back to how the body is saying, but I must emotionally repress how I feel so that they don't get alerted. Oh, target! Bang, 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 bang. I'm one of you. I'm really good. You don't know your body's sending out those signals, because if you were different, you could get chastised. If you were different, you could get this. If you were different and say, hey, mom, I'm not marrying this guy, she's going to go, what are you talking about? Take the pen back. So you're like, I've got my pen. I'm going to do this slowly.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like, ooh, the movie. Oh my God, it just went out of my head. And it's where they go inside the person's dream,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
the player characters in the dream, the non-player characters in the dream, are alerted that you're not
And Inception.
Inception. Yeah. And so they know that you're the enemy and you're not like them, so they have to attack. That's what the immune system does, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so you your cells know, your immune system knows. And so you then go into somebody else's territory. You have to send out the right signals so that these characters do not attack you. Now you have to go and suppress it down so much that your body, and especially in the small intestine area, will then turn around and say, oh my God, I'm the enemy. And then turn around and attack your body. Okay. So you have this vicious cycle. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
Oh no, I'm still here. If you need a, I have the sentence right. So yeah, I'm still here. I can't even speak. So they're saying come back. Okay, so come back here. Okay, so you just got done listening to, I think, I haven't listened to it all, but I think it's going to be a great book. And it's part of the awakening. And it has to do with that immune system book. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
You just heard, and I had caught you talking, and I said, but you just read that. So the subtleties, even not to believe the new healthy truths that are coming out.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. You're supposed to just talk this way. It's like when I started to wake up, well, I don't know why they do that. And it's stupid because I darn well know that they did, I know why, but my body and everything was, I don't know why and it's like spirit goes, what are you saying? Okay. So the biggest thing, and I haven't put up the video yet, was that when I woke up, my body was like, oh my God, enemy alert, threat, threat, threat. And my husband was, I didn't know this at the time, but he was wrapped up in his blanket and he was wrestling with his blanket. He's trying to roll over, but he can't because his blanket is pulling him back. Does that make sense? So I didn't know this. All I know is that he's tumbling on that side. And I thought, and my body and everything went, oh my God, they're in a bad mood. I'm in trouble, blah, blah, blah. And this is how I felt as a kid. And I, as a spirit being, was observing, going, yeah, that's not true. But I just saw my 3-year-old being panicked that I'm going to get in trouble. And I went over and I had to show my 3-year-old that, look, he's not a threat. And then he's like, wakes up, he goes, hi, honey, all happy and everything. But he's all wadded up. I don't know. Yeah, he wrapped himself up tightly as a burrito and kind of unrolling just to, he goes, I don't know what I did. But my body totally believed that the outside was a threat. We are now learning that we keep healing these emotional chemical peptides. That relationship, that bridge, that language, we have to learn this new language, that this bridge that we build with the outside, our body with the outside, is that the environment does not get to control our DNA anymore. The history was that the DNA always controls our outside is always controlling the DNA, telling it when to turn on and off the expressions of. But the new 4D, 5D is no, we are in charge. We have the pen.
Mhm.
We do not have to let the outside control us.
No, we don't.
We're going to learn how to hold that cup of peace. This is what the tribal members are doing. This is what my students are doing. This is what we're doing. We're learning how to affect, because we are so full of photons, light, that as we stay connected with becoming a spiritual human, being connected with that heart and brain coherence, we are setting a different photon and we're telling the environment, because we don't have to see it to believe it. We already believe, and then we will see it. So our inner world will create a healthier outer world. So you're at the stage where you're going to start have to pay attention to those subtleties. And you're
Mm-hmm.
going to really learn how to be that spiritual being, observing your live experiences and deciding if you want to be an echo of yourself or if you want to be present with yourself.
I want to be present with myself.
Okay. So you're in a new level of seeing things, doing things.
Mm-hmm.
And now it's like, and I know you got this because another timeline says she's already done this and you've already integrated a few timelines. Now you are choosing this moment to
Oh,
help
today
integrate a
when I was live, this is so funny. Somebody said good evening,
lot.
but I read good morning. I read good morning, and then just before you came on, I had gotten off, went and made me some eggs. And I came back, sat down. I swear to God, the computer said 7:30, which is when you come on. And then I looked again and it was like 25 after 7.
That's funny. That is so funny because um, that is what's also happening is the mandala effects.
Mhm.
Programs that normally would see are not seeing. So you're seeing through a different lens. And then all of a sudden you have to wait a minute. What is so you have to relook. So I have to double check what I read, what I see, because I'm like wavering in and out of I'm creating an integration. So just imagine the grilled cheese sandwiches pulling apart, but I'm doing this integration so that both sides get equal, so that the wisdom is being taken from it. And so it's as long as you stay as your spiritual self, you will not have to choose sides. Okay. Thank
Mhm.
you for this conversation. Thank you for this conversation.
Oh yeah. I knew
Okay.
that it meant something. I didn't know what, but
Exactly, exactly. Okay, I'm going to let you go, and thank you so much for coming on. And I probably will have time later. We'll
okay.
see. Okay. All
Okay.
right. All right. Love you. We'll talk to you
Love you
later.
too.
We'll see you
Bye.
in traffic tomorrow. All right.
Oh
Bye.
yeah, absolutely.
Okay. And I believe there's one more person, but I have to double check. Yes. And she wants to do it in chat form. Got to find out where she's at. So Jenney Bear is Jenney Bear. It's Jenney White Bear, but I just called her Jenney Bear. I don't know. Somebody call you that? Anyway, she's I can relate. And Robin says, truth, I'm claiming my body back. So yes, we're gonna hold that space. She goes, yes, happy quite often for me. It happens quite often for me. Wow, okay. Um, now we're gonna go over there. Now Nikki, it's another Nikki. So Nikki M, Nikki Mendez. She had written, okay, I'm gonna have to that screen is so damn small. Ah, hey, that works. Okay, excellent. So, how you doing, dear? How are you? And she, okay, let's see. Out of all this, she says, um, I have the side story going on. Oh, you have the side story going. Okay. Um, yeah, yep. And whatever is most important for Spirit's message. Gotcha. Okay, so she's here. And give me 2 seconds, if you don't mind, just 2 seconds. I've been here for a couple hours and so just two. I'll be right back. Okay. As I went in the other room, Spirit had said, is there any keywords that you want me to know so I can be more directed to that very specific thing that you want? Because, uh, as I read this field that's here, they said she's focusing on something. That's what I heard. Okay. How much is tribal? It's 42 a month. Oh, yeah, ending of a relationship. Okay. Is there any more you want me to ask for? No, that's unless you want to share. Otherwise, that's okay. That totally makes sense. So now, some of you, I'm moving the screens around because not only is this important, but now it's like we're looking through a particular book. And she says, her soul is saying she's done this in 5 soul lives, meaning the soul has dreamt and doing this 5 times in a row. So we're looking at a very deep soul pattern. Okay. All right. Does that make sense? Okay. Um, so I'm going to write down the word object, so being treated like an object. I'm gonna put the word that way. We're just gonna say that way. And invading. Run mode. Okay, so we're looking at how the brain, the cingulate part of the brain, is creating a particular pattern. It's saying that the cingulate part of the brain is doing something called attracting in. So your attraction factor of what you're attracting in. And when I'm looking at this, dismisses avoidant behavior. Okay, yeah, that's what I was thinking. So you are meeting people that are at arrested development. So taking that, knowing their behavior, dismissive, avoidant behavior, but they said, notice that really take that away. There is an arrested development. So in this reflection is that they cannot go past this arrested development. Now, we're going to look at what the mirror is what is it you can't see that you need to see that would cause because you're doing something. And like I said, I think this, like I said, 5 times in a row. And they said, this is part of it, this energy pull. Okay. I said, is this energy pull good, bad, indifferent? This energy pull, it taps into and it awakens this deficiency that you as an adult is not, you're fine, but it's your 5-year-old self. You said 5 lifetimes or 5, your 5-year-old self. So we're looking at your 5-year-old self. But your 5-year-old self showed up as deficient based on you didn't get your needs met as a child. So the basic needs that would have formed your years so that you wouldn't have to have this test at 5 years old. So you had to have this feeling of deficiency or this feeling of, or this habit of And right now they're not giving me a word. They're just saying that it's something that's very familiar, so much so that you can't feel it. But they're saying that it's connected with run mode, invading. It has to be a certain way, and you have to be challenged as this object. And that you had to learn to survive because you were left alone to your own devices. You were told this energy keeps telling this part of the brain over and over and over and over that I have to run maneuvers to get food. Again, the simplest as basic needs. Now, what does that have to do with your arrested development? And it has to do with feeling that people abuse you. So your 5-year-old had to grow up and couldn't see how you were being abused. So it had to not see that. So it learned how to take care of itself. And yet there's a certain amount of abuse that really has this recognition and is so familiar and is connected to love. And I'm going to have to say, did your mother, was she dismissive? Was she avoidant? Was this form of abuse? Did your mother abuse you in any level, like with invading energies, and treat you like an object to the point you could constantly feel she was in run mode? Because your brain is saying that I'm attracting in this type of relationship be threats. Okay, threats. All right. And this is how I know what relationships are, because those first crucial years are important. So I said, now that we have this, they go, first of all, we want to help you understand that the energies on the planet has allowed you to say, we can disrupt this soul pattern. Okay. Oh, that's brilliant. That's fine. I didn't turn on the thing. So we want to disrupt the pattern. So the habit. They're saying habit, not necessarily pattern, the habit. Okay, so we are going to say the word singlet. Okay, singlet. And then we're going to use SP. Okay. And you're going to use your magnet. You're going to use it on the governing. So the way you had to self-govern in physical abuse. Okay. The way you had to self-govern to survive is no longer necessary in relationships in your adult now. But we need to help the body and you, because you're saying, I don't need this particular part. So the body, so the self-governing, when you go to hit relationship, this goes the wrong way. And the ability to self-govern is that the ego then comes in with its way to protect itself and thinking this is what relationships are, that the brain says, this is how I have to focus. So you're going to say singlet, use your magnet, and then you're going to rub deeply. Okay. Okay. And then we have to help the body. Okay, so say singlet again. And now you want both sides. You don't have to use a magnet, but you have to get the triple warmer point right there, okay? Left side first, and just deeply rub 30 times. Wow, the temperature is like really hot all of a sudden in here. And not that warm out, not that I'm aware of. No. So it affects your hormones. It affects so the liver, so it affects your hormones, the way you protect yourself, creating the heat and cleansing the blood. Okay. Okay, so you tell me when you're done with that, because all of a sudden I just had this come back online once these, so we're going to say, you're going to say scalar field, and then you're going to say singlet again, and you're going to look at relationships. And then you're going to go back to the triple warmer on the right side. Use your magnet. And then you're going to deeply push in and out. Deeply push 30 times. And we're going to wait for this because this is a big one, because you're saying, your soul is saying, I'm being supported by the universe now that I don't have to bring this into the new 4D, 5D reality, which is good, which is good. Okay. Excellent. Okay. And the body is saying, see, for her, I don't feel like her body needs, her fat cells need to be swelled up. She can metabolize. She can do this. She's strong. She's a fighter. She's this. She's that. She's that. But that over aggressive strength is now saying, hold on, do I need to put so much life force into this? Okay. So this is how do I equate this one? Like saying that you have to be ultra alpha. And that I have to be like this character. That there has to be a threat, that I have to be this. And so what you're going to do in the long run is that you're going to hold L1D for I can't be confident. I have to put on this behavior. I have to have this thing. I have to hold this threat. Do you need to hold the threat? The body said, I had this experience. But the heart says, as you heal it out and help balance yourself, I don't have to create this to have confidence. I don't, do you understand what I'm saying? So we're going to that personality. We're not doing anything to it except for getting the wisdom. Oh, thank you. And so it's not having to die off or nothing. You're talking about, you're going to take the goodness from creating this particular personality, and the wisdom is going to create you to rise. And when you rise like that phoenix, you're going to feel your how do you want to put this? Your gown has a train. You're going to feel the goddess part of you all of a sudden don't need to have that particular attitude, that particular behavior, because your photons are showing up in a very healthier manner. And then you can start actually stop attracting those type of people in. And to really help you stop attracting those people in, there's a part of you that has got to, because that personality is saying, I have to judge this. I have to see this as an invasion. I have to see them with a very critical eye. You can't see through my lenses. Yes, I want to be done with it. Okay, okay. So they're telling me that you have got to notice that you're so hyper focused on with the dark night of the soul that, because like I said, you've done it 5 soul times. Okay. That you have to have these avoidant people. You have to feel them running away because you carry this, this strong part of yourself, or that you can see this arrested development and this energy pulls. And but it's about the cingulate part of your brain saying, I can change the way that I manifest reality. So I'm going to double check with your cingulate again. And I feel that you kind of changed things up. You can go finish healing. How was that reading for you? This was a big one. It's a big one. And like I said, once you start to bring these certain things down, you'll feel the wisdom, because you'll be putting more yourself into the Sigma energy and the benevolent energy. Great, thank you. What I need. Okay, good. That you'll feel your photon dress unfurl, and you won't have to use a strong personality. You will just be light. And if I feel like once you start to really see this pattern and say, yeah, no, okay, healing it out, changing the brain, you may have to use the same rubbing points. So again, you can watch this on YouTube. again and again, anytime you want. Okay. All right. Well, that's good. Thank you guys for um, really wanting something for yourself. If there's anybody else here that's sitting back waiting and would like a free reading that has not had a reading from me before, you are more than welcome to ask right now. You are welcome. Okay. All righty. Just going to double check again. Okay. When you have an opportunity to become more your spiritual self, you'll move in a situation where you can be observant, be able to measure, to be able to have this language, the soul language. And when you developed how to walk it, talk it, breathe it, walk, live it, breathe it, walk it, talk it, dream it, and imagine it from a spiritual perspective, you then have the ability to control the environment so your DNA does not have to go wonky. Does that make sense? All right. Hi, Sarah. How are you? Hi, Jenney. Hi, everybody. I feel like a dumbass. I've just seen the price of tribal behind you. Oh, yeah, no problem. No problem. Yeah, it's kind of bent over so you can't really quite see it. So, you know. So cancel, clear, delete. You're not a dumbass, and there's nothing wrong with asking. Nothing wrong with asking. Wonderful, perfect sense. Okay. Thank you, everybody. Remember that you are in a new stage where you can resolve to evolve, where you can heal instead of deal. You can heal that. You do not have to be the victim anymore. Do not have to have that mindset anymore. You get to change lots about you. That's the beauty, is that you're starting to take your pen back. You're not only being able to hold it, but you get to learn to write with it. And you're going to do it with more of that soul language. And I'm excited. We'll see you tomorrow in Tribal for all of those who paid. I'm excited to see what we're going to do, what kind of healing we're going to do, what we're going to talk about. I'm excited. I have a new, freshing experience of living as the new full time as a spirit being, and it's nice. It's nice. It really is, and that means the body's going to start to follow, which is great. Okay, I love you all very much. Remember, thank you, Spirit. You're already blessed, and you're already whole.